Yep, I think that is probably supposed to be in the motor. Well, I normally would say good afternoon to you guys, but it is already 8:15, even later than yesterday, so it is good night, but we haven't anyway. So normally, we had a lot going on today, guys, I'm not going to lie, and it just kind of took priority over making a video. But I still wanted to make a video for you guys, give you guys an update. I have been in the shop just a little bit, give you guys a little bit of an explanation. We forgot to order a pretty crucial part to continue the first gen progress, and that would be basically the top end kit, which has the actual new head gasket in it, which is really the only thing stopping me from putting the cylinder head back on. We already, over here in this pile of mess of parts, we already do have our HAMPTON push rods, like we just installed on the other truck we just worked on. We already do have our ARP 625s, and the valve springs are actually already installed on that, like that. Big box of clamps, the straight cut hood stack, miscellany, just tons of crap. Wall of fame or wall of shame, whatever way you want to look at it. Parts and trophies, but we forgot to order that, and I feel stupid. That was pretty much kind of just a slip up, but we forgot to order that and some gaskets. We are still waiting on some parts to come in, which if they don't come in, I'm just going to, this will all make sense, but if they don't come in time, the truck's gonna go back to the way it kind of was. If they do come in a timely fashion, then we are just going to get straight to making some power. So we are kind of just in limbo right there. Stay tuned to the end of this video for a sneak peek of some first gen mods coming. So this video might lack some action, but I'm hoping to make up for that for you guys, just give you a little sneak peek of what might be coming for the first gen. It's gonna be awesome, I'm gonna tell you that. It's gonna be awesome. And it's not the P-pump swap, which that's gonna be awesome too. I know a lot of people are upset about that, but anyway, the biggest progress of the night by far, I couldn't take the mess. The table was still sitting over here from the last work, and the toolbox was just completely cluttered with parts. So we had to go through and literally clean all the sockets up, and there was just tons of wrenches that were out. So we tried to, yeah, don't worry about that. I got too many standard doubles over there, so they kind of get messy. Snap-on Ryan hasn't hooked us up with a new box yet. We haven't gotten our official Snap-on sponsorship for all the wrenchwork stuff we do in this garage. So when that comes, we'll be more organized. But we also did happen to, and I know these aren't really the best option, but at least we got the bolts separated from the nuts, the washers, and the miscellaneous. These are really just body trim stuff. But we did get rid of our, that way when we dump these out to find the bolt we need, at least we're only dumping not the nuts and the washers too, but we got those a little bit more organized, which took forever. I did take out the wheel well. You know what, let's flip on our other handy light here. These you can get at plenty of different places. Snap-on sells them, you know, Harbor Freight sells them. Tons of people make those, so getting a lot of questions on that. I figured I would show you guys the turbo plumbing and the oil drains and feeds and how these are kind of set up, seeing that the wheel well's pretty much been in since you might have seen it. So here's our big manifold charger. That is the one that's connected directly to our manifold. From there, the hot side, oh, let me get this light. The hot side, you can see, kind of makes a very sharp bend, kind of comes up and then wraps around into our two top turbos there. That's what basically drives those. From there, you can kind of see how they merge into that manifold compressor to combined. And this downpipe here, which also does connect both chargers to a normal downpipe, that is how that is. You can also see the oil mess that happens to just be completely everywhere. Our drive pressure gauge kind of wraps down from the manifold, gets hooked into the sensor there, kind of wraps around the back side of the motor. Also, our low pressure boost sensor, which I actually disconnected, is right there on the bottom side of that charge pipe on the cold side, and then pretty much seeing that the manifold charger is just a flip down, you know, manifold. It's kind of just a normal outlet to the intercooler going straight forward. So before we pop these off, I basically just wanted to show you guys that. So, you know, real quick, I just want to explain, you know, I get a lot of questions about triples versus compounds, how the piping works, how everything kind of works. It's really the same. Compounds and triples work the same. The low pressure charger in a compound setup, you're basically splitting that airflow in half for your top two. So basically, you know, where normally you'd have your small charger and your big charger, these are doing the same thing. They're just basically combined. So that's why, you know, your hot pipe is still feeding into both of these. It's still then compounding into the face of your manifold charger. Basically the exact same way a compound setup is. You're basically I'm saying basically a lot. You're splitting that load of your low pressure atmosphere charger into two. You're basically just cutting its workload in half, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes some sense. And I know it's kind of a little bit complicated to kind of carry on, but anyway, not too much progress. If anything, tonight we might just pull some chargers off. We might not. We might just go inside and eat. I'm not really sure. And it's getting to be that time of night. Oh, did you see it? Well, it wasn't a killer, cicada killer, or whatever the heck they're called, or Eastburn hornet, but either way, we are shutting the doors that way we don't run into that problem again. The only thing that is also awesome when you blow an engine on a truck versus a car, you have a whole bed to put all of the parts that now have to come off from the engine. You can just put them right in the bed. Also, while we were cleaning up, we did happen to find a huge chunk that came off the engine. Just hanging out. Got it all cleaned up so we can hang that over there on the wall of shame as well. Alright, so we started taking off the oil feeds to the top chargers and also the clamp for the downpipe, this big massive downpipe. So the other thing is, once this downpipe was built, we actually realized, oh hey, if we actually need to pull the downpipe out for whatever reason, you can't. It won't come out through the bottom, it won't come out through the side, it won't come out through the top. The downpipe has to basically stay in here regardless, unless you pull all the chargers, which is just yet another reason why triple turbos is just triple the work, fitment, and everything else. It's just triple everything. So, you know, even with no air conditioning, with kind of everything out of it, it's still quite a bit of a pain. Now, a lot of people do run hood stacks with triple turbos. It's basically, you know, 90 up, 90 up. That resolves a lot of issues, a little bit more work doing it with a regular downpipe, but that's what we kind of wanted to go with, actually. Well, correction, it's what Greg wanted to go with, and Chris Nolt, my buddy, Mr. Nolster Fab, made it happen. So that's where we're at right now. The downpipe is pretty much loose. If I could, I'd probably pull all three of these out at the same time, but literally, you know, here's your room to try and get to the manifold charger bolts. Not a whole lot of room, probably not going to happen. So what I might try and do is pull the top two off complete as a unit and then just pull the manifold charger by itself, but we'll see. So oil feeds, all right, there's one, there's two. They kind of snake down in there to the top of the oil filter housing. That's not that bad. We got those off. So let's go to the drains. So before we, you know, disconnect these, we got to get the drains off. All right, this one, not that big of a deal. I mean, we are running a big number 12 drains on these chargers. Really tight in between the center section and the exhaust housing, but that one's okay. That's not a big deal. All right, let's go find the other one. All right, here it is. Let's go find the drain for this. Oh, okay. All right. There's the valve cover. There's the manifold. This is very, very tight. That's what I'm trying to get at. It not only fitting the pipes in the hot side and the cold side, getting the drains lined up. This is a very, very tight fit. You pretty much can't see it really anywhere. The camera can't see it anywhere, but basically it goes from the top there, kind of comes down alongside of that block down in there. We do have 2 drains wide together, and then the manifold charger on its own separate drain. Really, that's the only way to do it unless you are modifying the oil pan. But that's what we did for this one. Didn't seem to have any problems. In the future that might change. So what we had to do in order to get that, and I'm sure every single person has been there, but we had to do a little modification. I remember that. I was trying to take it off and I'm like, looking through my wrenches, I'm like, how in the heck? I know I didn't use a long one, but then of course I found this guy, and that is exactly what I had to shorten that for, because these big number 12 drains use a 1.25 inch wrench to get that off. So that, I mean, that's part of the reason why I needed doubles, is to make those fittings. Not only that, but as you can see, our 13 mil, you know, there's a custom 7/8 in here. You know, everybody's kind of, that's what you got to do to wrenches sometimes, and that's kind of what has happened. So I desperately need to re-up my entire open-endeds, because these Mac ratcheting ones, half of them are like shot. But anyway, we'll get off the tool talk here. I have to go visit our buddy Ryan, the Snap-on man. But feeds and drains are both off now on the top chargers. The exhaust clamps are off. So basically now I just need to take them off together. I just need to undo this main clamp and also the one on the back that supports them. When we were fabbing these up, you would be shocked. I don't have any other support brackets on this entire setup except for the V-bands and the piping that holds it. I had both of these chargers hanging off of the hot pipe even before this cold side merging pipe was on there. And honestly, I've driven on the street, gone over bridge decks. I mean, who knows, fingers crossed, but it's been enough support even with this one hanging out. You could literally jump up and down on that. You'd move the engine more than you'd move the charger. So anyway, if you were wondering how they're supported, it's all in the V-bands.
Yeah, it's all yes.
And if you are possibly wondering how we got these things hung and fabbed, this is how, right here. We had the engine hoist with slings everywhere, trying to position these things to get the fab work done. I'm telling you. After Chris got done helping me do these, which, again, big shout out to Chris, he was like, yep, never doing triples again. We are never, ever, ever doing triples again. We pretty much banged it out in a weekend, but the hours that we slept in that weekend were probably under what you can count on both your hands for the entire Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. It was a good time. Let's put it that way. Well, guys, no action shot of the 2 low pressure turbos coming off, but here's where we're at. That's where we're ending. It's probably a good thing the camera wasn't turned on. There was a few select words. The way I wanted to try and take them off together, definitely not. I should have just taken one off at a time, which I thought was going to save time in the long run, which it ended up not, but you know how that goes. A bit better look of the hot pipe, but here they are laying on the ground. Oil everywhere, of course. But it is now 11 o'clock, and it is way past bedtime on a school night. That's for sure. So we're going to go inside, go shower. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya. And you guys thought I forgot about the sneak peek. Come on now.